Hello and welcome to the St Kilda and Bayside Report. It's March 2025. I'm Gary Peer.
Hello, Gary.
Hello, Jeremy
I'm
Roses.
Jeremy, by the way. I forgot to say that.
Yeah, you
March,
didn't forget your name, did you?
This year's just, it's March. The first quarter is all but done.
Yep, it's all but done. A little bit like our team, Carlton Football Club.
We don't talk, Gary, we're not talking about the football. As exciting it is to have AFL back on our screens and a busy weekend of footy. It's depressing. If anyone from Carlton's watching, you're a disgrace and an embarrassment, and that's all I've got for you.
And we couldn't even get the joy of Collingwood losing us on the weekend.
I'm not even worried about any other teams losing. We were so deplorable that the most exciting thing is going to work now, Gary.
All the upside. There's all upside. You know, that's how we're going to do it.
We're
going to find a silver lining. We're looking hard for it. Away from football, let's talk about property. Let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about the break. It's a very interesting quarter we're reviewing, Jeremy, because January is a bit of a no month.
Always is.
February is a bit of a half no month.
Yep.
And then, of course, basically it's mid-Feb on and into March.
And then we've got April, there's public holidays and Easter and long weekends.
April, May, June's a pretty healthy quarter.
Yep.
May's a very busy month. For those that are thinking of selling, want to know which month, April, May are very active quarters before we get to winter. And then, of course, we get into that real cold winter, which is a little bit quiet.
Cold winter.
And
this
before you know it,
week's
it's
been
spring.
a bit colder, Gary. I don't know whether you've noticed. We've come off the back of a heavy heat week, and now it's kind of
more heat coming.
away.
More heat coming later in the week.
Is that right?
It is indeed.
Weatherman now.
Interesting, because last time we probably met, we've had an interest rate drop.
Yeah, well, it would have been December when we met. We were limping to the end of the year, and it feels like a stronger market.
Yeah, it does. The numbers were way higher, started way higher than it finished last year, the average numbers of buyers through homes. So good to see more people out
to put that in perspective, that's attendees to open for inspections.
Correct.
Is what you're saying.
Yes. I don't know whether it applies. I think it also actually applies to actually web inquiries and numbers of hits on the
total inquiries, we could say.
So more people are interested now in getting back to property. More people are interested in finding out what's going on, and it feels like a lot of buyers are jockeying for position. They're just getting ready to strike. There are buyers that are striking as well, but it feels like there's a lot of buyers ready to strike, and I reckon that next interest rate drop might see a bit of a surge of buying activity. Your thoughts?
They do say the first drop alerts everybody. The second actually gets people signing contracts, bidding at auctions. I've seen, it feels a lot stronger. It feels better. I don't know whether there's been a big shift in prices, but there's definitely a shift in buyer activity. So there's more of them, and they're more active. And they're placing bids at auction. They're not standing back waiting, which they did late last or most of last year. So we're seeing, at least we are seeing, higher clearance rates and more cut through with market and more depth of interest, which is probably a sign of a strengthening market.
A sign of a market improving, where there is more engagement, more interest, a better sentiment, I would say, is the way to possibly wrap it up. A better sentiment out there. And in terms of vendors, well, I think a lot of vendors have come to terms with this is the market, these are the prices. I think there are vendors that are hanging in there, waiting for them to go up before they release onto the market, and we don't know when that's going to happen, but we know ultimately prices will go up, whether it's in 3 years, 2 years, 6 months, 1 year, we don't know, but it feels like a good time to buy still. I reckon it feels like a good time to buy.
I think it is. It's a good time to do everything, Gary, because we need it. But it feels like if they ever were to ring a bell at the bottom of the market, it feels like that was rung a little bit of time ago, and it seems like we're starting to get some momentum.
Indeed. Those that tuned in probably want to know what's been going on, particularly in our area.
Tell me, Gary, we've got a sister show here, the one that not a lot of people look at. This is obviously the main game for most people is Bayside TV, but for those of you that watch the sister show, as I like to refer to you as Gary Peer TV or GPTV.
Is that the sad, ugly sister, forgotten sister that's occasionally
the two compares are fairly sad and fairly ugly, but it's not a fashion show, nor is it a good-looking thing, because neither of us are really damaging that area.
No catwalk on that show, is
Definitely no oil paintings, but you're known for having the clearance rate towers.
Yeah, we do.
So I've obviously been paying close attention to it. Obviously this weekend...
You're the guy that watches it.
I am. No, it's actually not. I watch it. I have it on the background while I'm in the shower or something. Yeah. But we've had consistent clearance rates north of 80%. I think that's a fair thing to be able to say to the
last
market.
weekend it wasn't, but it has been
up
till then.
Dipped to what?
70, but it was 94%, it was 85% or 80% or thereabouts. So it's been strong.
So 70 to 80% they say is a good, solid market. 80% plus is almost a good market, sometimes almost hard to read market, and sort of 60 to 70 is okay, and below 60 is probably not a great market.
No, well, the state rate, Victoria's has been around about 70 to 75%, so that's a very positive market. I think things are definitely showing improvement. Definitely, and I think looming federal election. There's some people that are feeling that there may be at least government. If government stays in, the government will start becoming more advantageous. If government changes, it might become more advantageous.
Well, let's not mince our words here. They're going to be pro real estate or not pro real estate.
Well, there's always a position that governments take where they like to actually get their hands on those that have got property or buying properties money. Simple as that.
Especially when they've been giving away for a number of years.
Well, that's right. So that's not going to change under either government. There'll still be land tax. There'll still be stamp duty. But the reality is we need more opportunity to develop. I think that in Victoria, the Allen government is talking about opening up the gates for that to happen. There's no question that federally we need more houses, and I think there's a recognition of that. So that will also be good, I think.
Interesting tale of the market, a good segue to talk about some of our sales results, because we spoke about the difficulty in selling properties in 2024, and it's not that it's easier now, but there seems to be more activity. One of these properties that we sold, Daniel Fisher and his team had a property at 324 Inkerman Street in St Kilda East, which we took to the market last year with varying degrees of success. We ultimately didn't get a sale done. We then remarketed.
Is that what we're going to say? We failed, or?
Well, no. We just didn't get it done.
Didn't fire. Didn't fire.
It's okay. I think fail is just it's a word that you need to get out of your vernacular.
I like to throw a grenade in the room.
We just didn't. We didn't succeed at first attempt.
Okay.
We then scheduled it this year for auction. We went to auction a couple of Thursday nights ago. We had competitive bidding from 2 or 3 parties, and we ended up getting the property sold. This is 324 Inkerman Street in St Kilda East. It ultimately sold around that mid 1.3 range, 134, 135, which we were not close last year to even getting that. So that's really, in essence, a tale of where the market's come from and going to. A positive result.
It's a bit of a test of where, or a little bit of an example of where we are right now. Whereas I think things tailed off pretty quietly last year, just sort of whimpered away, but it's come back with a lot more aplomb, a lot more action, a lot more energy.
Aplomb?
A plum. Some of the other results have been interesting, Jeremy, and we've got some great offerings as well. Moore Street, Elwood, that was a brick pair. We love selling brick pairs.
How good are brick pairs in Elwood?
Love a brick pair. Love a brick pair in Elwood.
This is hot real estate if I've ever seen. And there we had, it wasn't quite a competitive auction because it's kind of at the pointy end in terms of pricing, but we ended up got that one sold, just passed it in, post-auction had it sold. Toward the middle of the range, we were quoting sort of 1.8 plus, and it sold above that figure.
Yes, so that was sold in the range. Interesting what will get you in Elwood for a brick pair. I think it's good value actually in many respects. I mean, I know that it needed, some investment.
Needed some work, but
good opportunity for
the new buyer will turn it into a beautiful home or 2 beautiful homes.
Southie Street, Elwood, an apartment. This was sold.
This was a firecracker
flying auction,
Gary.
One of our feature auctions. Tell us a bit about this.
It was fun. I mean, it was 40-something degrees, and I was dying, so we did it inside, and I actually wore a short sleeve polo shirt, Gary.
I don't know
cause
about
a bit of disturbance amongst the ranks.
One of our other auctioneers and our partner, Philip Kingston, he's also been wearing some sort of T-shirts, and I referred to him a few weeks ago as possibly Teletubby, but then understanding that his weight situation is one that's very, under control. He's healthy and fit.
Well, he's probably a bit precious about it too. He wouldn't have liked that.
No, he didn't like it, so I moved him from Teletubby to Wiggle. And I've said,
loved that.
My partner, the Wiggle, and I think he quite didn't mind the whole Wiggle thing, but
I think he's just happy to be talked about, Gary.
Possibly. So I think we can just stick to a shirt and tie, personally. But anyway, there might be an image of you in this colourful outlet.
But there may not be.
Anyway, tell us about the auction.
Anyway, Shelley Street, we had...
Southie Street.
Southie, sorry. We would have had 4 or 5 bidders on that occasion. Had what I thought was a very realistic reserve, and it sailed past there, and we ended up selling it in excess of $800,000, Gary, for a... Very nice. I expected it to be sort of in the sevens, early sevens, but it just flew, and the happy buyer there bought themselves an amazing apartment in a great part of Elwood.
Crimea Street has secured at one stage that became a little bit of a red light zone, Crimea Street, at one point in time.
You say this based on...
Not based on, just based
Anything in
on
particular?
understanding, the demographic and the way St Kilda worked. But at one stage, it did become a bit of a red light zone. As we know, St Kilda is prone to be in some areas, but it is no longer a red light zone. I'm not sure if the prices went up or down
Well,
as a
there
result.
was a red light going on that day, Gary, because straight
me about
after
that.
I left Southey Street, I went to Crimea Street.
Yes.
It's another 3-bedroom apartment. And again, 4 bidders going there. Beautiful sort of blonde brick block there. And that ended up selling for $680,000.
A disclosed price, thankfully, a
Yes.
disclosed price. Jeremy, we did sell also a property, an interesting property on Carlisle Street. This was a medical surgery or medical
Yes.
centre. It had been there for many years as such, and it was sold number 42 Carlisle Street, and that was undisclosed, but the asking price was around 1.8, so suffice to say it sold
Close.
for close to the asking price. We've got some beautiful offerings coming up. I think we should talk about that. We also talked on our sister show about the power of video today, and I think
Yes.
video was optional at one stage. Video was something that you accompanied occasionally online with a listing, and you'd get maybe 50 or 30 or 40 views. Now we have videos and we have views in the thousands, Jeremy, in some
Well,
cases.
I think what's also happened, Gary, is video was thought to be for the prestige style
Yep.
home. What we've now come to deal with and come to terms with, and our vendors have and a lot of owners, is that it's for everything.
Yep.
Because it's not about the house, it's about the people that want to buy the house.
And the
you
lifestyle,
need to get in
isn't it?
front of their
Yeah.
eyeballs, and people love video. I mean,
Yep.
YouTube is the most expensive and probably the most prolific platform. It's not quite social media, but it probably is.
Yeah.
The future is video, Gary. I mean, by virtue of the fact that we're also having this video,
Yeah,
it
exactly.
means that we strongly believe in video.
Well, I remember a few years ago you did one for a one-bedroom apartment in Wellington Street.
I
St
did,
Kilda.
Gary.
You were the pioneer, I reckon, at that time. And you don't mind being a bit of a trendsetter, a bit of a leader, a bit of a pioneer. And you were with that video, which is a few years old,
Yep.
where you probably stood like that and you were very stiff.
No, I
and,
was
you always
I was
loose.
fantastic,
Yeah,
then,
you're
Gary.
great.
I'm surprised Channel 9 didn't pick me up.
Yeah, well, you should have taken their call, shouldn't you? But that
was
was one of the.
busy.
You were busy at the time, yeah, busy at the time thinking about the Carlton Football Club. But that was a video that got a lot of action
Yes.
and a lot of attention,
Yes.
and of course it's just blossomed from there with videos for all sorts of price ranges. So if you're a seller and your agent doesn't give you video, you're probably not selling with us, and you need to be, and we'll give it to you.
Another great segue, Gary, to talk about one of our listings, because we've got this unbelievable apartment, and to call it an apartment is probably underselling. It's like a sky home, Gary. Level 8
Sky home.
of a 13-level apartment complex. Full floor apartment at K1 Union Street in Melbourne.
Wow.
There is a very cool video attached to this.
I've seen
This
this
is
with
on
the-
the cusp of,
this
on
one
the
with the,
edge of
yes.
Albert Park Lake.
Yes, I've seen
We were there on the weekend and over for inspection while the cars were going
Oh, that
around.
would have been cool.
Well, it was
That would have
noisy.
been a 4 or 5 hour over inspection. You would have been just sitting there.
The
watching,
owner
wouldn't you?
wouldn't let us open on Sunday because they
Okay.
wanted to be there the whole of Sunday
Yeah,
with their
can't
friends.
blame them, yeah.
But that's coming up, Gary. That's an expression of interest that's going to finish on the 8th of April. We're suggesting 22224 hot real estate right there, Gary.
Hey, I also want to talk about the video in Ackland Street.
Yeah. Philip?
Yeah, Philip's done this video where you've got this spectacular rooftop,
Yep.
and the same vendor has been in that property for decades.
That is a great
That's at
home,
an
that one.
amazing place. Is that actually on the market?
It
yet, or
is
this like the
online.
first
It is
step?
online. It was open on the weekend.
Okay.
It's 3-bed, 1-bath down the bottom end of Ackland Street, near
Yeah.
Fitzroy Street, near the water, near the hustle and bustle that St Kilda is famous for. It's a
Yep.
beautiful older style complex and a great floor plan.
Is it Prince of Wales Hotel in the corner? Is that what
Opposite.
it's called? Yeah,
It's opposite the Prince of Wales, the side of the Prince of Wales, but it's 1.4 to 154. That to me, Gary, is bulletproof, A-grade, blue chip real estate.
Yep.
That's some of the best real estate that you'll find in Melbourne. That's going up on the 5th of April. Nikki Janova and Jessica taking that to the market, and Phil doing the auction.
Tell us what else is coming up.
We've got a lovely apartment just coming up for auction in the next couple of days, Gary, in Vale Street in St Kilda, around the
okay.
corner from our office.
It is.
This is where the Bentley office combining with the St Kilda office to make magic happen. Vanessa McGlynn taking it to the market, 2-bed, 1-bath, 1-car, modern complex, really nice apartment complex, 6 to 660, sleek contemporary design, Gary, in a prime location in
That
Vale
sounds like the
Street.
advertisement, yeah. In
Well, it
fact,
is the
yeah.
advertisement, Gary.
Okay, what else is coming up?
Well, I got to tell you, this is first-class Elwood lifestyle, Gary. Right in the heart of Elwood, Ormond Esplanade, apartment 3 or home number 3 at 37, 23 to 25. Not a lot available at this price range.
That's coming up
as
very
good as
soon,
this.
isn't it? Is it this weekend?
It
or-
is actually coming up on the 22nd of March, Gary,
Okay,
which
pretty
is this
soon.
weekend.
Yeah,
So
yep.
1:30 p.m. This is beautiful, fabulous terrace overlooking the water. I mean, this is a big, big home in a great location.
What a great place to live, hey? Imagine waking up every morning to that view. It would be pretty special, wouldn't it?
Well, that was your pitch to your dear wife, and she clearly got sucked in, and probably, we're joking, you are the Temu version of what you could have been. Is that even...
Not quite sure that's
you
right,
know-
but
you know
anyway,
what
she was
Temu
very
is.
young when I
We
when I
were
met my
making
wife.
fun of Temu.
Yep.
Yes, she was very young, innocent. Now she's not... Well, she's
young-
still very young.
Yeah.
We should probably cut that whole bit out of the video, I
Maybe
think.
we
but
should,
maybe
maybe
we'll
we
just move on.
Okay, let's keep going.
Speaking of super apartments in Elwood, Garrow, Garrow. You don't mind if I call you Garrow, do you?
I love it. I love being called Garrow. I've had a lot
Garrow
of nicknames.
Peter.
I've been called Gaz, and lots of different names. But
This is
Garrow's a new one.
I mean, you can
Maybe
tell
in
that this is
Spain.
the first video for the year. I'm really
Rusty.
a little rusty there.
You can
This
say
is
hello, Garrow. It
Garrow.
could be like a Spanish twist to
Southey
it.
Court, Gary. Let's get back on track here. This is a
Okay.
delightful Art Deco block. It's got those beautiful arches in the front windows. Superb deco apartment, $690 to $750. I'm lucky enough to have auction honours. I'm down there with Nikki Genova, 5th of April, 10:30 a.m. 2 bed, 1 bath, 1 car. Superb buying in a great location in Elwood. Older style apartments is where it's at.
That's a Garrow recommended buy, that one. Let's move on.
Garrow, tick of approval.
Exactly.
If you don't like older style, Gary, and you like architecturally designed, cool, new, modern looking buildings, then 78 Inkerman Street is the one for you. Neo Metro design, basement of the building has car parking facility, a fabulous cafe at the front, and this one is a fabulous 1 bedroom at the rear of the block. Nice big balcony, great design, concrete roof, polished floors. It is a seriously
Very
cool
schmick.
Neo
Yep.
Metro apartment. Morris Bitton and I are selling that one. 1 bed, 1 bath, 1 car, $370 to $395. That is a snap purchase, Gary.
They do a great job, don't they, now, Metro? They've got their reputation for a good reason.
Yes, they do good work. Very
it.
fastidious builders.
Let's move on.
Contemporary and convenient, this one, Gary, with a huge courtyard garden, which in my opinion is probably bigger than the apartment itself. 2 bedrooms, right in the heart of Carlisle Street, 88 Carlisle Street, modern block with the most superb courtyard. It's got a big terrace where you can put your tables and chairs, and then it spills out a couple of stairs, take it down to this big courtyard garden. You can see from the pictures, it is great buying if you're an investor. Buy this one, put it in the portfolio, you're on your way to wealth creation, or you can just live in it and enjoy everything that St Kilda has to offer.
Now, this is a very exciting property, this one in Mitford Street.
Oh, Gary, do you want to talk about this?
Well, no, I'll leave it
You
to
wanna
you,
leave
but I
it
know
to me?
I've already had people calling me personally saying, look, this is something we're interested in, we want to know about it, and it's a great looking property.
Let's start with the price, Gary. 2.1 to 2.3 is the price range, which I think is great buying.
For a block of 3.
For a block of 3 homes, Gary, all together, a magnificent Art Deco on a really good sized block of land of 531 square metres, approximate title dimensions, but it is so close to the water. It's so close to Ackland and Carlisle Street. It's right in the middle of bustling Elwood, and they are just ready to move into straight away, or you can release them out. And again, once again, Gary, this will be a great investment opportunity in the heart of Elwood. Capital growth galore, great floor plans, great block of land.
Yep.
That's great real
That's great
estate,
real estate.
Gary.
Yes.
That is superb real estate. But if
No.
that block doesn't take your fancy, Gary, we can take you just a little bit down the road to Garden Court in Elwood. This one is opposite the Botanical Gardens, 2.2 to 2.4. Magnificent block of 4 Art Deco on separate titles to be sold as one. Ground floor, courtyard gardens, upstairs, terraces. Great floor plan, great looking building. Some have garages, some have off-street parking. It is on 597 square metres of land. This is great real estate.
That is truly beautiful real
Matthew
estate.
Morley
Yep.
bringing that one to the market. Very exciting.
Good on you, Matt. Look, that's a big wrap on the St Kilda and Bayside report. It's some market sentiment there, which is positive, some great offerings, some great sales, and the kind of, you can hear the drums, Fernando, right? You can feel the
Is that
smoke coming from the
what does
from
that
the
mean?
hills, saying, well, it's like a train.
Who's
that's-
Fernando?
Yeah, well, you've got to be an ABBA fan to understand, right? But
You have to be born
there was something in the air that night.
50s to know what you're
No,
talking
that's not
about.
true. You could be born a little bit later, but it is sort of starting to feel like there is some serious momentum in the market. So watch out for this space, because we will keep you advised and involved in what's happening in the real estate market, and we'll see you next quarter on the St Kilda and Bayside Report. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.